in the ring, you're stripped bare. Like, I can be there as your coach in the corner, but I can't jump in there for you. You are on your own. You'll be surprised at the amount that you can miss, right? For people who are fathers, who are mothers, who are brothers, who are best friends, you can go through hours, days, weeks of just not being connected to someone and not even noticing it.
Yeah.
But all of that time will eventually add up, and you may only miss it when they're not there. It is harder now in many respects. It's also easier, right? There are some ways that it's easier. We have all resources at our fingertips.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it could be easier, but it's a double-edged sword. We also have so much more distraction.
We're here today with my mentor, best friend, basically second father, James, right? And I have amazing questions prepared for you today, right? So for the listeners, basically who don't know you yet, maybe introduce yourself a little bit and what you've been doing and who you basically are.
Okay, so I'm James. I've lived in Thailand for around 25 years. Known Dominic for around 6. I was Dominic's boxing coach, teacher, and mentor, and still am. Had a fantastic experience here in Thailand, and just want to share some stuff today and share some experiences that we've had together. And obviously, congratulations on the podcast. Seems to be going really well. Very happy with that. So yeah, it's far away.
Yeah, man. So you said you've been in Thailand for 20 years now, right? But where did your story start?
So in England, grew up near to London, and then after leaving university, I lived in New York and New Jersey for a little bit. I was actually managing a soccer team for a season over there. That was a Newark Academy team, so it was very fun over there. And after that, I came to Thailand, did some teaching in Bangkok for a few years, did some traveling around Thailand, fell in love with the country, the people, the food, the lifestyle. And it also felt like I was building something fresh, something new, rather than, starting with the stuff that I had in England. This was a completely clean slate on my own. And from there, spent a few years in Bangkok, moved to Hua Hin, ended up staying here for the rest of my life.
So you've been basically around the whole world, right?
Been to quite a few countries. Yeah. There's still quite a few that I'd like to go to that I haven't been, but
like what's on your bucket list?
I would say Las Vegas to see a big boxing match.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we all have to do together one day.
Yeah.
Something that my dad did. Went to watch Frank Bruno versus Mike Tyson. So going to watch one of the big names today would be something fantastic for me. As you know, obviously from the teaching days, I love history. So something around South America, like the Incan Trail or something like this would be pretty amazing for me. Would you believe I've never been to Italy?
Oh, really?
Yep, I've never seen Italy.
So, what? Yeah. I thought you have.
No, I've not been to Italy. Spain multiple times, France multiple times, never Italy. Austria, Germany, yes, but yeah. So many places to go in Italy, right?
Man, I loved Italy when I went there. I mean, I told you, right?
Yeah.
When I did the sailing trip all over the Mediterranean.
Yep.
Man, that was amazing. I think my favorite place was probably Sicily.
Okay.
Sicily, yeah, man. The history there and like the way they built like the city on the island, man, and the food in general.
Okay.
Right.
Just everywhere.
Yeah. But I don't know, for some reason, like Sicily felt most like okay to travel around. You know, it was like it was just everywhere you went, it was just good vibes. You know.
Okay.
I don't know, like when I did that Europe trip, right?
Yeah.
We went obviously to multiple countries, but like Italy was definitely my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, so we definitely have to hit up Italy one more time.
Sure.
That was really good. But you said Vegas, right? For the boxing.
Yep.
And what fight are you looking for most, like this year maybe?
I mean, timing wise, it would probably be next year. So obviously the heavyweights are kind of a little bit moving on now. There's a new generation coming forward. So it's just something that creates a massive buzz and that we're kind of a little bit invested in as fans of fighters. So someone big like Ryan Garcia
Yeah.
or someone where the energy is going to be there and it's going to be real fun, and get some nice seats near to the ring and do it properly. It'd be really good fun.
Yeah, I see. I think Tyson Fury and Usyk, they're like preparing ready for the third fight now. I
Yes.
saw something that on social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think is gonna take the third
Uh,
round?
I think usually when someone beats you twice, it's going to be extremely hard for you to come back and win the third one. And that's not to say that it hasn't happened, right?
Yeah,
I think Marquez did it to Pacquiao and knocked him out in the third fight. Or it might have been the fourth, I'm not sure, one of those two. But very difficult. He seems to have the blueprint to beat Tyson Fury, and there's no way he's going to slack in any kind of training. So I don't see how Fury, without doing something completely different like he did against Wilder and walking him down,
yeah.
is going to make a difference. What do you think?
I mean, I'm always a big Fury supporter, man. So hope dies at last. It's what
Yeah,
people usually always told me, right?
yeah,
And you've seen it, like I feel like I don't know what the odds are now, but I'm pretty sure Usyk's now the big time favorite,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And everybody loves a good comeback story.
yeah.
So I think Fury's got it.
Okay, okay. And if you had to watch a fight, let's say next year, who would be one of your top three picks to watch?
Oh my days. Top three picks to watch. I mean, I've always wanted to watch Tank.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Tank's always like a interesting fight, and I love like those pressure fighters. Obviously, you know how I fight.
yep,
Those pressure fighters are really fun.
yep,
Obviously, Canelo fight would be amazing.
yep.
Um, Third, I don't know. Maybe um, the surgeon Ben Whittaker,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
That would be
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah. He's got a big fight coming up, I think. So
Yeah,
the one where he went out the ring,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so he's got the rematch to because some people said I might quit and stuff, and so he's got to set the record straight and go in there and deal with this guy.
He's really entertaining to watch. So I think
Yeah.
that would be interesting. I've been following him on social media for so long time, so that
Okay.
would be really interesting.
Okay.
Okay, but let's go back to you, right?
Okay. Sure.
So you do multiple things. When people ask who you are or what you do, where do you even
Hmm.
begin to answer that question?
Sure. I suppose back in the day when I was teaching, so I was on and off as a teacher in different schools, in different parts. I would just say teacher. That's the easy answer, right? Other than that, when I'm not teaching or to answer the question of anything else I do, I would just say investor. So I've always invested from a young age. Most of the money that I've had. And I like to build investment, as you know, and I've tried to get you along on this journey as well. Um, so yeah, teacher stroke investor, obviously very keen on sports, boxing particularly, and coaching. um, so yeah, to other people I suppose I'd have to let them answer that question of
Yeah,
who I am, but to me that would be what I would say what I do. um, who am I as a person? I would say probably just someone who tries to be better. And certainly it's not an ascent, it's a up and down.
yeah,
But generally, I would like people to see me as someone who has a positive influence in their life and someone who strives to be better over a long period of time.
yeah. Let's get back on that investing for maybe the listeners who
Sure.
are like my age, right?
Sure.
What would you recommend like a person that's going through like the same phases that I'm going, maybe even younger,
Mm,
to put their money in?
mm. Well, obviously, that's a difficult question to answer exactly what they would put it in. What I would say, which I think is very interesting, is when you guys were growing up, I imagine you didn't have any kind of financial literacy classes or anyone telling you how to invest. So if you're unlucky and you don't have a parent, or you're lucky enough to get a mentor that guides you into investing, or at least the concept of investing and saving, most kids are going to end up starting out in a lot of debt. right? They're not going to really know how to grow wealth. I think this is a big issue. I don't know how you feel about this in schools.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've been in university now for the past 3 years, a total of like 4 years
Yes.
from my Thomas days, right? And I can see like the education that students are getting
Yeah.
based on business, and everything is just like money out and not never money in.
Right.
How to spend money,
Right.
like, but never how to actually earn money,
Yes.
right? Even like my professors that would talk about how to basically build a corporate business already, but how do you start a small business, right?
Mm.
How do you actually become an
How do you
entrepreneur,
get the capital to
right?
start?
So yeah, I think that's a big gap in the education system,
Yeah.
like you said, with the financial literacy
Yeah.
that people is not getting it.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend people actually do with their money if they have any money? Do you think like crypto or stocks or forex trading is even a good idea, or do you think they should put the money in something else?
We have the advantage now where anyone at a certain age can invest, right? Back a long time ago, it was kind of gated, so it would be difficult to invest for young people. Now it's easy to invest with a very small amount of money. So the first thing I would say is you can start at any time. You don't have to be rich to be an investor. That's the first thing to get the head around. Then I would say practice with small amounts. So even if you wanted to, a lot of websites obviously do your research on the website that you're using, but they offer platforms where you can services, sorry, where you can set up an account for free, and they will give you $500 of fake money, and you spread it around and you see how you're doing, and you learn before you jump in. Obviously, with something like trading, if you have no experience doing it, it's gambling. It's essentially what it is, right? You may win, you may lose. You're probably going to lose the longer that you do it.
Mm,
So, whatever you're going to invest in, um, try to get someone knowledgeable around you that's going to help you with the procedure. If you can find that person for free, perfect. If you have to pay for it, okay, you make that decision. Um, Obviously, I can't say the exact thing that I would put it in because it completely depends on the individual and where they're at.
so do you think maybe people should like invest in the people, like the education,
Mm, sure. I
right?
mean, certainly grow the knowledge before jumping in. I think it's great to jump into investment, as in to try to, put your toe in to
Yeah,
test it. But you do have to be very careful because you can lose a lot of money. So you need you need information, you need guidance as someone starting out
yeah,
as an investor. So going through trial periods, speaking to someone, doing research on the internet, about historical returns, patterns in markets, cycles in markets. Just try and learn the basics before dipping the toe in, and then start off with something reasonably easy, see how it goes, and try to build it from there.
yeah,
So as with trading, it can be wonderful one day and it can be terrible the next. And there's ways that you can become more savvy with trading, with stop losses, etc. But that all requires knowledge, right? It all requires work. I don't think there's really a shortcut way of jumping straight into investment, although I wouldn't see it as something that is daunting to get into. I would say, you can get there with a good attitude and some good research. You can start off with a small amount of money and just get the mindset right, that you're looking to grow your wealth, because otherwise, as you alluded to a second ago, we are taught how to spend money, and it is advertised to us everywhere. It's okay to take money from the bank. It's okay to get a credit card. It's okay to buy this. It's okay to buy that. And we're constantly shown, especially from screen time as well, that buying things equates to happiness, right? So a lot of people without financial literacy will see that and they want to spend, right? They want to be like the people they're watching on YouTube or Instagram. They want to be like some friends who have better shoes than them or whatever it may be. And it can be a vicious cycle. It can be a trap. Okay, so they get into debt. You all of a sudden have this message from a credit card company who has spent millions of dollars of research trying to find you, and they're going to pump this credit card to you, and you think to yourself, wow, I've got like 100,000 baht to spend. This is my money. Like, I can do whatever I want. This is amazing. Go to buy a new iPhone, or I go on a holiday, or I take my friends on holiday, my family, whatever it may be. But what they don't think of is the fact that they have to pay it back.
Yeah.
And that's what is not shown, or what is not pushed towards them. Not only do they have to pay it back, they have to pay it back with interest. And once you start getting into a debt cycle, it becomes very, very difficult to get out of it, because you're just clearing and coming back, clearing and coming back. So for you to start building on the other side of that, you need to try and, for me, cut the debt straight away. Cut your debt first, get back to zero. Or if you haven't ever been in debt, perfect. That's the perfect way to start. Take the money that someone gives you. If you're not spending 80, 90% of it, take the money and split it into two piles. This one, okay, I'm going to spend. This one, I'm going to either save or invest, or split it again and save it and invest it. And the more that you can do that, this pile is going to grow and grow. It's going to become easier for you to invest, easier for you to save the further down the road that you go. But it's a mindset to start with.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I've definitely heard that I have definitely read that in like the business books that you've gotten me before, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely does make sense, and I can see how the knowledge is transferred from.
Let me be real with you. If you're still thinking about learning a new language or skill, you're already behind. Preply gives you zero excuses. I've been a tutor myself on Preply for a year now. I teach German, right? And I've helped students go from basic phrases to confidently speaking in real conversation. But it's not just about me. Preply has over 50,000 tutors across 180 plus subjects, from English, Spanish, French, Japanese, to business skills, test prep, and more. Right now, I've partnered with Preply to hook you up with a 30% discount on your first lesson. Okay? Click the link in the description and you will see it instantly. Dominic sent you a 30% discount. Choose any tutor, any subject, and book a time that fits your life. Even if it's just a 20-minute trial. And if you're not satisfied, you can switch tutors, no extra charge. So if you're serious about leveling up your skills today, then click the link right now. Claim your discount and start learning something that actually moves your life forward today.
Season 2, basically, of this podcast is about Hua Hin, right?
Okay.
Because I do want to move here and live here for long term after I'm finished with university next year, right?
Yeah.
So, and you told me you've moved here, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Right? What made you move here in the first place, and what made you stay, actually?
I think Hua Hin is a fantastic blend of a very quaint town, seaside town. So we have, a good variety of restaurants. We have some nice beaches. Okay, they're not top class, but they're pretty good. They're clean. They're very family-friendly beaches. The people here are very friendly. And there's enough stuff to do. We have 2 shopping malls. We have the cinemas. There's plenty of sport to do here. And sport is also growing very fast in Hua Hin. Maybe something, we'll be a part of in the future. But also, it's not so big that it feels overwhelming, like a Bangkok or a Pattaya, where, like somewhere like Phuket, where we love to travel, but wouldn't necessarily want to live there. Whereas I think Hua Hin is the best of the small town and the bigger town combination.
Yeah, we're really located in a really good spot, you know. If we want to go to Bangkok, it's only 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
Right? And if they even bring back the boats to Phuket, it's only like a 1-hour speedboat ride, right?
And then we got the 1 hour, 15-minute flight to Chiang Mai.
Yeah,
from the airport.
From the airport, right?
Hopefully they'll expand the airport at some point. I think the government seems to be putting a decent amount of money into Hua Hin. So, if we can get the airport a little bit better, a bit more infrastructure in the town, possibly the train that they're talking about to cut the traffic from Hua Hin to Bangkok. There are a lot of, especially families, that move here.
Yeah.
And so if they're having children, you're talking longer term, but you're talking about long-term growth for the city, which, I'm excited to be a part of.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen actually a lot of infrastructure like newly constructed
Yeah,
down in
yeah,
the city in
yes,
Hua Hin,
yes,
which is amazing.
yeah,
Like it definitely needs some upgrades.
yeah.
Those main roads, especially,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, need some money spent.
Yeah, the intersection close to the Big C, like when you come down the mountain, and then that intersection when you go left to the Canal Road and then right to the the
Yeah,
intersection. I
yeah,
saw that was brand new.
yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
new
it's quite nice,
roundabout now.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
It's quite nice. They're putting in a lot of stuff. Have you noticed? I mean, you must have, right? Noticed a huge difference between being here and then being like, "Oh my god, this city is probably too boring for me." Going to Bangkok and having everything,
Yeah.
and then now experiencing all that and like thinking, "Oh, you know what? Maybe I want this again." Has that been kind of up and down for you between Hua Hin and Bangkok?
You know, I must say, like Bangkok is a fun city.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I've lived there now for the past 3 years, and the people I've met are all interesting. You
yeah.
know, actually, what really sparked the curiosity tenfold, right? I mean, I was always a curious person, but Bangkok, just meeting all those different kinds of people, just made it even more curious, right?
Yeah.
But after I've been living there for such a long time now, I do miss the quiet here and there
Mm.
and the environment that Hua Hin has,
Mm.
like where you can just concentrate on what's important
Mm.
and you don't have all those
Distractions,
distractions
yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
I think leisure time is okay, but
Yeah.
like I said, it's a 3-hour car ride.
Yes.
If you actually do
Really
ever
wanna
feel
go.
like too bored or like
Yeah.
too like what's it called, when you work too hard,
Yeah.
you can
Burnt
always
out or
just
something.
burned out. You can
Yeah.
just take your car and
Yeah.
drive to Bangkok, right?
Yeah.
So I think like I miss Hua Hin a
Yeah,
lot, and I'm
okay.
always excited to come back for the weekend. Um, but yeah, I wanna get a little bit deeper, right? So you were my teacher,
Yeah.
right? My history teacher and
Yeah.
my civics teacher in high school when I
Yes.
was in grade 12.
Mm.
Then my coach,
Mm.
right? I've told the people the story about how
Mm.
you started coaching me
Yeah.
from the shadow boxing and
Mm.
history class, and then
Yeah.
coaching after school,
Mm.
and then my mentor.
Mm.
When did that shift happen for you? When did I stop just being a student and became someone worth investing
Okay. So I would say probably from the first few times that you came into the classroom, because I don't know if you remember the class when you came in that I was teaching you, it was pretty dull.
in?
I was very thankful that you came in because you made it like a lot lighter. You were quite cheeky, so you made it like quite jokey and fun. And I think your charisma lifted up the class. And so straight away, I could see that you had something different, that you had a spark from there. Um, being transitioning from a student to mentorship or whatever else we would call it, probably the boxing, right? I think because we box so much and we're both very obsessive about winning, and we share a lot of common traits in sport that I think we grew a very strong bond from boxing, from training together, from pushing each other, from me testing you as much as I could and you showing that you wouldn't quit. And obviously, yeah, we have some things that we're not the same, but there was certainly enough there for me to see a spark and potential of, yeah, this person is very much worth my energy and my resources. That's what I would say.
Yeah, the training was tough.
Yeah.
I remember the stair runs, and I
With
remember
the ankle weights
yeah,
strapped to
I
you.
remember when you came to practice one day and said like, yeah, well, let's make it a little bit more interesting. You just gave me those ankle weights. Oh my days, that was fun.
But I think some of the sand was coming out on it, so every
Yeah.
time you went up the stairs, it got
A
lighter.
little bit lighter, yeah. What was your favorite experience, like favorite memory from like that fight camp training coming up to like my first fight against Victor?
So I wouldn't say favorite, but certainly the one that sticks in my mind was when I got you to spar me and my trainer Tep without a head guard.
Yeah.
That's when I knew that you were ready for the fight, and that's
Mm.
when I knew that I was almost certain that you were going to win it, because I wanted to me and my coach, who is a lot stronger than me, to both stick it on you and see how you would react. And you were very new. You'd
Yeah.
only been training for a few months. Like, I mean, he's had over 100 fights. You know,
He
I
was a
had a few
badass.
fights as well. So, you know, for us to stick it on you with no head guard, and for you to, you know, take me one round and then have him the next round and then me, and then so we kept going through. That was when I thought, yeah, he's good. He's good. He's prepared. He's not going to feel overawed when he gets in the ring, and it's not going to shock him. And that was something that will always stick in my mind for that camp.
So you said like that there was a spark, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think young men today are getting wrong?
I wouldn't judge to say getting wrong. I would say that it is harder now in many respects. It's also easier, right? There are some ways that it's easier. We have all resources at our fingertips.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, it could be easier, but it's a double edged sword. We also have so much more distraction. Now, for someone of my age who may be a bit more media literate and has seen the changes and has experienced the other side of not having so much distraction, it may be easier for me to handle it. But for someone who's grown up in an environment where the screen in front of them has been teaching them without them having to use much of their imagination, can we say? That must be extremely difficult. And I mean, I struggle with it. I've seen people around me struggle with it, being distracted
Yeah.
from the bettering myself, from spending time with the people that I love. It's a struggle. It's so addictive. And so to grow up with that and not see the other side must be extremely difficult. So I feel for young people in that regard. And I don't know. What do you think? How can we safeguard against that? How can we give a message to children about that?
I think having a support group,
Okay.
like for example, our group basically that we surround ourselves with all the
Mm.
time, right?
Mm.
We usually keep each other in check all the time,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Whenever somebody's slipping or somebody's like basically falling off the edge,
Mm.
like we would say like, hey, like we've noticed this,
Yeah.
like you gotta pick up the pace again, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I've been called out on my bullshit
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah.
You've been called out, right? Our whole group has been called out on different things.
Yeah.
And I think having basically a support group, right? For women, it will be like a girls group, right?
Yeah.
And for guys, will be a guy group,
Mhm.
right? That where they can basically keep each other in check all the time.
Yeah.
I've seen beautiful friend groups from both genders, right?
Yes.
That keep each other in check, right?
Yeah.
I've seen like how the way girls would support each other, and I see the way guys would support each other. And I think both are very like good for them, specifically.
Mm.
And I think if you have that group of people that you trust
Mm.
and basically also respect,
Mm.
right? I think keeping each other in check is a very
Sure.
good thing and easy,
Yeah.
And then you get less distracted because like
Yep.
when basically you see me lacking
Mm.
or like falling behind, you
Mm.
would give me a message like, yo, I've seen you not doing so well. So
Yeah. So
you
support.
gotta lock in again, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's like the easiest way for people to not being distracted.
Okay.
Because a lot of people think they can do it by themselves,
Mm.
right?
Very difficult.
A lot of people can think they can do it by themselves.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you're a good example of someone who's set boundaries, though, right? Because I've seen your character. You can be very addicted sometimes, but
Yeah.
then at the same time, you know that and you become aware of that and you set yourself boundaries. Okay,
Yeah.
when I'm at the dinner table, I'm not going to be on my phone.
Yeah.
When I'm conversing with my friends, I'm going to give my 100% attention to them.
Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, where did that come from? Was that something that just sort of flipped, or is that something you worked on? Where did you?
That was actually just my mom and my dad.
Okay.
Right. My mom and my dad, they're always basically for example, the dinner one.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're at the dinner table with your friends, don't look at your phone.
Yeah.
Right. Because dinner is a very like sacred thing.
Right.
In especially in my family. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about culture wise, but in Germany, it's a very like important thing. The way I grew up, right? And at the table, like you just have to sit there and not touch your phone and just converse with people. I remember my dad would, like, when I was still in boarding school, right?
Yeah.
On Sundays, we would stop at my grandparents' house, and before that, before he sending me to boarding school, we would have like coffee and cake with my grandparents, right? And they would talk about politics or like work. And I was like 14, 13, 15 years old.
Yeah.
I couldn't converse with them.
Yeah.
But I literally just had to sit there for 2-3 hours and just, basically be at the table looking like I was interested in what was being said.
Yeah, sure.
But my dad would say, like, you have to sit there.
Yeah.
You have to show respect because the dinner table is a respected place. You know?
That's a great way of looking at it, I think.
Yeah.
If you can set some boundaries like that, you would be surprised at the amount that you can miss, right? For people who are fathers, who are mothers, who are brothers, who are best friends, you can go through hours, days, weeks of just not being connected to someone and not even noticing it.
Yeah.
But all of that time will eventually add up, and you may only miss it when they're not there. And so I think the wisest thing to do is to try and focus on the time that we have now with them and try and set some boundaries that we can be interacting, we can be present, we can be with them. I think, it's also going to form a lot stronger bonds and a lot stronger friendships.
And I also think just the fact that you're not looking at your phone shows me that you're interested in what I have to say, right? Even when we're just hanging out, when we're hanging out at your place or when we're hanging out at my place, you've seen like our whole group like never use any of, and I'm a very big phone addict.
Yeah.
I'm a big phone addict, right? Like I have a lot of screen, but like just showing a person that you care about their opinion or what they have to say, it's just like also like a really big form of loving, like showing love, right? So I think it's just crucial, and I think our group has done it pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, coming back to the students and fighters thing, right?
Sure.
You've you've been a teacher, right? So you've taught students.
Yes.
And you've also been a coach, right? You've trained fighters like myself.
Yes.
Right? Which one teaches you more about human nature?
Oh, that's hard. So there's certainly different ways, because I think with teaching a class, you learn kind of group dynamics and how character can shift group dynamics. So as an example for you, as I said, when you came in, you brightened up a quite dull class, and you learn, this person shouldn't really sit next to this person, or there's group dynamics going on in a classroom, whereas boxing generally is one-on-one, right? Deeper understanding of what it is to be to build character, I would have to say fighting would teach more as a coach, because when you're in the ring, you're stripped bare. Like, I can be there as your coach in the corner, but I can't jump in there for you. You are on your own.
Yeah.
And so there is no hiding place. In a classroom, you don't answer a question, it's okay. Like someone else is going to answer it, or no one's going to get too angry. But you get knocked out in front of someone that you love, that's a massive deal. You're putting a lot on the line. And so to go into prepare for that, to then step into the ring, to then go through the whole fight, to put it on the line, I'll always have huge respect for that. And I think the character of someone can be tested to the limit in a situation like that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I really like that that you said that in the classroom it more teaches you about being in a group,
Mm,
right? And fighting basically teaches you how to stand on your own 2 feet.
mm, yeah.
And I think both are really crucial.
Mm,
And
mm,
I think also that people should actually appreciate the time that they're on school much more
mm,
because
sure.
it's not just because school is easy and
Yeah,
everything.
and work sucks.
Yeah, and work sucks. But also because it teaches you a lot, how to actually build connections with
Right.
so many different kinds of people,
Right.
right? A lot of people that I see just go to school or university and come back,
Mm,
right?
mm,
But actually, maybe starting a conversation with the person sitting next to you
yeah.
or the person in front of you,
Yeah.
or with the teacher even,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It gives you so much more training
Yeah.
for the life afterwards,
Yeah.
because what I've seen there is like so many studies that this generation is becoming lonelier and lonelier.
Yeah.
Even though we have so many ways to connect with people,
Right.
right? And obviously it's because of the phones
Yeah.
and
Digital companionship rather than physical.
yeah, but like I saw this other study that having a support group actually does increase your longevity,
Mm,
right?
mm,
I forgot who the researcher was, but it was a
mm.
really interesting like conversation that she had,
Okay.
and like what she was basically saying that having the like chance to live longer
Mm,
literally also depends on the group that you're with.
mm,
If you're always alone,
mm.
you're not going to live as long because you have nothing to live for,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And I think school, like boxing,
Yep.
is basically training for your life in
Mm,
some sort of way
mm,
as well,
mm.
right? And
Yeah.
actually using the opportunity to go to school, not just to pass the exams and get good grades and then go to work,
Mm.
but actually using the opportunity as training
Sure.
on how to converse with people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do not know how to converse.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't know
Yeah,
how
it's
to
practice, right?
Yeah.
You got to practice it.
Yeah.
It's like boxing. You can't just all of a sudden be a good boxer. You have to practice. And I love that example because it's all about opening roads, right? So you go into university and you meet someone new, or you just think, oh, I might just say hi to this person.
Yeah.
It could lead anywhere. That could take your whole life down a completely different trajectory, which may be better, just for the sake of saying hello to someone. It may be that you just make their day slightly better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a win, right? So I think that's a great point. I think it's a great point.
There's this one person, I think her name is Vanessa Van Edwards, and
Okay.
she called it as little gift giving.
Mm.
Making
Okay.
somebody's day by
Yeah.
also just having she's like this body language expert that I watch
Okay.
a lot, right?
Okay.
And she basically calls it little gift giving,
Yes.
right? Giving people a little gift on the way,
Mm.
right? By
Mm.
basically just having a positive body language even,
Yeah.
right? Smiling at the person is
Yeah.
already a little gift that you can give,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And she said, like that, you also become more popular or like
Mm.
more liked,
Mm.
right? In order to be liked, you have to be first liker.
Sure.
She said there was a study of who are the most popular kids
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
Most popular kids in school.
Yeah, who do you think is the most popular kid in school?
So probably a good sportsman, someone a sports person. Probably someone who has a very positive mindset. I don't know. Am I missing?
It's actually so they did so they basically asked the school, right, and basically wrote the names down of the people that they like, and the person that wrote the most names down was actually the person that was the most popular one in the school.
Oh,
so the person that had the longest list of people that they liked,
yeah, that makes sense,
was actually the most popular school in the entire school.
Okay.
So that was basically like the research that like you have to be first like in order to be liked by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that person was the most popular school. I thought that was really, really interesting.
That is very interesting.
So
fits with your character as well.
Yeah, I try to be as positive as possible.
Yeah.
And And I've seen people like they literally light up
Yeah.
when I walk in the room, and that makes me feel good as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those gift giving,
Yeah.
what I said
Yeah.
earlier.
So reciprocation, right? So whatever we want, we should be prepared to put out first.
Yeah.
And I think that's extremely important. And it goes both ways, right? If we're someone that's walking around with a lot of anger that we're projecting, it's very likely that we're going to get anger back to us. And
Yeah.
it ends up in either a positive cycle or a negative cycle.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely important.
Okay, well, you've seen me when I was 17,
Yeah.
when I freshly came back from the States to Thailand.
Yes.
And you see me now at 23.
Yeah.
How do you think I've changed, or I haven't?
Great question. Your jokes are still pretty bad. No, I'm kidding. How have you changed in those years? So, for me, probably the biggest change is that you don't have something to prove anymore, I would say. When I met you when you were young, you certainly had something, and it was quite hidden because you were still very charismatic and very confident. But I always sensed there was some part of you that was a little bit insecure or wanted to prove yourself to. Not sure if it was to yourself or to someone else or who it was, but it was definitely there, and it would make you be sometimes a little bit irrational, sometimes angry when you didn't need to be. And I feel probably through boxing, but you can answer this question better than me, that you found a much more calm level where you've seemed to have already proved to yourself. And it's not a finished article, but it's massively better in terms of your outlook, your perception, your confidence, like a deep confidence, that is not just trying to hide something. I don't know if you think that would be accurate, but
I mean, yeah, boxing definitely helped. I mean, I think I've thought about this before, why like things are in my life the way it is, right?
yeah,
I don't know, this is like a conclusion that came to myself, obviously.
yeah,
So I don't know how accurate it is, even by my own like standard.
okay,
But I think after like I stopped football,
right,
something that I was training for my entire life,
yes,
and then stopped,
yes,
right? And I didn't have anything anymore
to
right?
replace it,
Yeah, and I basically felt like a failure, right? I didn't have like the one thing I was doing my entire life
okay,
was gone, right?
okay.
So the one
So
thing
it's
that
part
was,
of your identity.
yeah, the one thing I was basically good at, right? And I couldn't do it anymore because I just didn't think I had it in me anymore. So basically, I was in a long period of time of what now,
Yes.
right? I mean, that's why I went into engineering and everything. But I think boxing helped me because it showed me that there are different opportunities where I can succeed in as well. So winning that first fight was crucial. I know I was really confident in winning, but sometimes I imagine it. What would have life been like if I didn't? Because
Sure.
thinking about like the football thing
Yeah.
and how that destroyed me, and then how the
Having to
first
go
fight
again.
going through it again,
Yeah.
practicing for something so long and just not winning it.
Yeah.
But I think after the first two wins, that third loss, that third fight that I lost,
Yeah.
right, was much easier.
You were ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
I didn't have to prove anything anymore, like what you said.
Yeah. All the training, everything that you'd done, you'd already proved it to yourself, I think, and more. So,
From the first time we met, you
Yeah.
never really treated me like a kid.
Yeah.
Even when I technically was one. Maybe even still am.
We're all
Why?
kids at heart somewhere.
Yeah. Why?
I think it's easier to get the best out of someone when you kind of viewing them from more of an equal playing field, right? Coming from a position of authority and stuff is not really my style. I would much rather, in almost all of my relationships, trying to come across as a friend to start with. I feel like that would build a layer of trust that is different from someone coming from a position of authority or however that they would go about it. And I also remember from my young days at school, I didn't really enjoy school until I became like 18. When I became 18, for some reason, I don't know if they still do this, but in my school, it was like before 18, you weren't a man. When you're 18, you're a man. And as teacher, we're going to speak to you like a man. We're going to treat you like a man when you're 18. You can make your own decisions. You can drive your own car. You can do this. You can do that. When I was 18, I enjoyed it. I loved
Yeah.
it. And something in my brain went, okay, now that I actually am not being told what to do all the time, and I've been given like some freedom of choice, I enjoy it. I like it much more. So I always try and keep that level, at least to some extent, in my relationships.
Yeah, because I thought this question was really interesting because
Mm.
I've I've been around basically the world traveling also with dad,
Yeah.
and a lot of the people that are much older, already been in business for a much long time, they would see me and think like, oh, that's a kid. Why would I
Yeah.
even listen to that? So that's why I thought this. That's why I thought
Sure.
this question was really interesting, and why you didn't treat me like one, like your
Mm.
perspective on that. So I just
Mm.
wanted to elaborate on that question,
Sure.
right?
And sometimes it may be that I don't think we should be closed-minded at all. Even when you were 17 or 18, there might be something that you could show me or teach me. I'm perfectly willing to
Mm.
be open and to accept that. It doesn't really matter where someone has come from or how different they are to you in age or whatever it may be. Be open to the fact that they may be able to help you.
Yeah, I actually start showing that respect to everybody that I meet now.
Mm.
Maybe I know most of the things that a lot of people say is probably not helpful, but maybe, just maybe, they
Mm.
have one tiny thing
Mm.
that I never thought about
Mm.
that would completely shift my like way of thinking about
Right.
something. So that's why I try to go into every single conversation now with a complete open mind that
Mm.
I think maybe something
Yeah.
that they've experienced in their life would be helpful.
Sure.
That's why I think this podcast is also so interesting,
Mm.
having people from like different walks of life
Mm.
come
Mm.
in, and maybe something the listener that is watching this or listening to this
Yeah.
that they never even thought about,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So I think your way of thinking is also kind of like a little inspiration for why we actually started this, just
Mm.
showing that
Sure.
being the first one to show respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the main reason of this episode with you
Mm.
was basically your anti-aging obsession
Yeah.
and medical experience, right?
All right.
So when did your obsession with health and anti-aging really begin?
Health, I'd say I've always been health conscious, but I was
But
always someone who,
also for the listeners,
sure.
um, what like you've been in the health industry for a long period of
Mm.
time, right?
Yep.
Can you maybe give us a little history of why we why we even looking into this topic?
Sure. So, I mean, I've been interested in health. I've been around healthcare business. It's something that I've followed and researched a lot in my life. I taught health at school. Am I a doctor or anything like that? No, absolutely not. And so, anything that I say here, I would say to the listener to do their own research on. This is just how I do it. In terms of health, I've always been someone who's been health conscious in that I've pushed myself to be healthy. So, healthy food, a lot of crazy exercising. Um, but also, I've been someone who's burnt the candle at both ends, right? I've done the bad stuff as well. Nowadays, now that I'm a little bit older and it comes to be more worrying about aging and the kind of degenerative effects of aging, I would say I'm still as health conscious as I was, but I also trying to lower down the damage that I do to my body. Right, so it's a two-way street. It's almost like what you were saying about the money before. It's not only the money that's coming in; it's what you're taking
Mm.
out. Right, so trying to do both has certainly been something I've been interested in, and I've taken more of a scientific approach to it within the last 4 or 5 years, I would say. So measuring stuff, taking blood work, actually trying to certainly know myself and know my body better. what has a good effect on my body, what has a bad effect on my body, can I measure it? Not to the point where it's obsessive, but
Yeah.
to the point where I know that if I'm on the right track or if I'm on a bad track.
How's your view of health evolved over the years from maybe back then
Mm,
to now?
mm. My view of health, I think I'm probably more pessimistic than I was. So I used to be someone who,
Oh,
in terms of health, maybe would take the doctor's word straight away, right? I'm a lot more pessimistic about uh, doctors in general, and that's not to say that they do a bad job. They're fantastic people. They're doing a fantastic job, but I think that their hands are held about the amount of information that they can give about health now, especially in a place where it's private healthcare, where it's a business.
mm,
Most of the time they are incentivized to make money, right? And so they're going to be putting out cure rather than prevention all the time. And I think as a society, in terms of healthcare, this is where we're going wrong. We are not looking at the things that we could be doing up to the point where we're getting sick or we're staying healthy. And what we're doing is we're consistently going to the doctor for the treatment, for the cure, for the problem. Right? We're not going back and trying to fix the problem. And the doctors are held, their hands are held in the information that they can give about that because their job is to sell medicine.
yeah, yeah,
This is a big problem.
yeah. You okay? Well, you said that the doctor's hands are tied, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, what's something you think most doctors don't tell you,
Hmm.
but you've learned through your own experience?
Sure. So, I mean, most doctors would not talk about nutrition, right? When you go into a doctor's, it's unlikely, unless maybe you have diabetes or something. But even then, I feel that they have certain things that they can discuss, certain things that they can't about nutrition. So, I feel like getting your diet right, obviously, a lot less processed foods, getting your weight correct, knowing how much to eat and how much not to eat, how many calories to burn. I'm not one of these guys who counts my calories, but I know generally speaking over a week how much I need to eat and how much I need to exercise to stay where I want to be. And then, alternative medicines, vitamins, how's your immune system? Is your immune system strong? Immune system is something that you can take a blood test for to test your natural killer cells, your NK cells. You can see how high they are. You can boost them with vitamins that you would take, and then you can go and test again and see, is my immune system better? Is my body better at fighting off infections? You know, and this is all preventative care, right? So your exercise, your diet, your supplementation, what kind of stress are you putting your body under? Are you putting it under negative stress or positive stress? Right? Stress can be very good for the body. It can be very bad for the body, right? As you know, you can put your body under heat stress in a sauna, and it has wonderful effects. You can put your body under the stress of alcohol or drugs, and you have a negative effect, right? So the body reacts to those things.
Yeah,
So I feel like all of those things in combination, and also just learning about your own body. So our bodies are quite amazing things, and they can be very unique. So there could be something that affects you that doesn't affect me, right? Or something that works for me that doesn't work as well for you. So I like to keep notes about my healthcare, and like I said, a little bit more scientific, do some blood work, check my telomere length, which is the longevity of your cells. It's a measure of your cell age, so you can actually now measure your biological age as well as your chronological age. For me, since I started doing that and I started monitoring what affects it, I lowered my biological age by 9 years. So I got essentially 9 years back of health by doing that. And also, my immune system is very, very high. That's not to say I might not get hit by a car tomorrow, but like it's high to the point where it's high off the charts. And that was literally just trial and error and research. and trying to live a fairly healthy lifestyle. So, no, I'd say whatever condition someone is in, do some research. Don't try to wait until it's too late for the treatment. Let's try and preempt our conditions if we can, and let's put in the work beforehand, and then make our body ready to fight for whatever's going to come our way.
For the listeners that are like probably really interested in this, what you were saying right now,
Yeah,
where would you recommend even starting the research? Because there's so much information
there is so much information isn't there?
online.
Yeah.
Where would you even start researching about this?
Honestly, I think now there's obviously some very negative points, and there's a lot of negative studies coming about AI use right now. But I feel for medical, obviously, do not use your AI as your doctor, right? I'm not going to say that, but having said that, the AI, if you know your body very well and you can articulate the problems that you're having, it's going to give you a very, very accurate feedback on what you might want to do. And then from there, I would say you take that into your own research, and spend real time on it, and don't only say, okay, this is my issue, this is what AI recommends, this is what I'm going to do. Say, this is my issue, my levels should be here, where are my levels, right? So you're almost self-doctoring, right? Go to a clinic, get the blood test, all right? Ask for those results yourself. You have the power and the information to be able to do that. If they're low, okay, great, you've just figured out the problem. Now you go back online and research how to make it higher, yeah, until you build up a whole platform of health ideas, and you know how you can optimize your body.
Yeah. Let's talk stem cells.
Sure.
For the listeners who do not know what stem cells are,
Yep.
could you explain that?
I think they'd have to do their own research for stem cells. Stem cells is extremely.
But what are stem cells?
Okay, so I mean, stem cells are the cells that are going to replicate, right? So you can replicate good cells in your body, and obviously, when you have something like a cancer, it's going to replicate in a negative way. It's going to replicate bad cells. So you want obviously natural killer cells, which are going to kill the bad cells, and then you also want to grow good cells, right? So when we're young, we have plenty of stem cells. Our body's rejuvenating all the time. When we get cut, it's quick. When we get injured, it's quick. As we get old, it starts to degenerate. And part of the reason is because our stem cells are going down. Right? So artificially now, as with things like testosterone, you can have those put back into optimal levels.
Okay, so you said with your stem cell treatment, you've basically reduced your biological age by 9 years.
Yes, correct.
And so would you personally recommend it, or do you think it's maybe still misunderstood, or maybe people don't know enough about it?
I think definitely, again, like, it's such a complex field and it's so new relatively that I would encourage anyone to do a lot of research into it, to go and speak to a professional about it. From my experience, it's been fantastic, but I have heard of one person that it didn't go well for, or they claimed that it didn't go well for. So, be open-minded with it, go and research, go and listen to people. For me, it's certainly been something that I can record and see a very positive result in.
How long have you been doing it already?
For stems, a couple of years.
A couple of years?
Yes.
What are the couple of years? Like two,
Yeah.
three?
Yeah, a couple of years, 2 years. Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, people are skeptical. You're skeptical, right? And if someone listening is skeptical about supplements or regenerative supplements that we just talked about, right? Treatments.
Sure.
What would you say to them?
I would say choose a scientific approach. So take your feelings, your symptoms, put them in, find out what you need to test for, do your own test if you have to, get your results, and then go from there, and then measure them after you've taken. So take a scientific approach.
I mean, what are some okay? What are like some non-negotiables
Yeah.
in your daily routine when it comes to staying sharp and young?
Okay. So big one for me is obviously exercise. As you know, we've been on that journey for a few years. It has always been exercise. So gym is very important to me. So I think having some muscle mass is important. Cardio is important. So for me, I like to run or swim pretty much most evenings. I'll either do 4 or 5K, or I'll be swimming like 50 lengths, something like that. Something to keep the heart going, keep the breath work going is very good. I do a lot of hot and cold therapy. So I have an ice bath at home, a sauna. I'm in there pretty much every day. I'm not sure if that's optimal. I think maybe
No.
5 times a day is probably more optimal than 7. But I just love the way that my muscles relax in the sauna, and I love the way that the ice, it will bring down your inflammation. It will tighten your skin. So I just feel you also get a little dopamine hit, as you know, from sitting in the ice bath, right? So
Yeah.
that's quite a nice feeling afterwards. Um, Diet, I try to be quite strict. My issue is like ice cream. I've got like a thing for ice cream. Maybe some chocolate or cookies. So I try and like keep that fairly balanced. But other than that, I eat very well. So I have like superfoods in the morning, like goji berries and
You said
Greek
superfood?
yogurt. Yeah,
What? What?
superfruits like
So,
goji berries. And, I have blackberries with them. A lot of berries.
what is a
Um,
superfood?
Superfruit is just a fruit that's very high in antioxidants.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can also get seeds that are extremely good for you as well. Lots of different seeds.
Mhm.
And so I just mix those all into a blender with some Greek yogurt in the morning. That's a really good way, I think, to start the day. And then I'm getting enough fiber, I'm getting enough protein during the day, and I'm trying to not eat rubbish, right? I'm trying to not eat any kind of processed foods, as much whole foods as I can. I love eating just oranges, sometimes bananas, sometimes cucumbers, just whole foods.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really good for the body.
Do you like basically cook at home or do you eat out?
No, generally, there's a few places that I'll go that I know do very good, fresh, sometimes even organic food, and they'll cook for me. So
Yeah.
most of my diet would be that in the morning, and then I generally have like a protein bar or something after a workout, and then for dinner it'll be a salad, some sort of salad, either chicken or like fish or
Yeah.
something with protein salad like that.
So how often do you train then now? Like you train what, twice a day and then do the hot and cold treatment once?
Yeah.
So
So I
you
would do a gym, although these days I have to do a lot more stretching.
yeah.
So like, which is really boring. So I'm actually at the gym like a couple of hours, sometimes even 3 hours if I want to stretch and get everything in. And then I'll go off, do the work, do what I have to do, and then in the evening is when and I've always been someone who does cardio in the evening, so I've always ran in the evenings, probably because I'm not so good in the sun. Uh, but I also love swimming in the evening, so
Yeah.
I'll just pound out lengths in the swimming pool in the evening. It feels great
Yeah.
afterwards. Um, yeah, so
And you do this every day, 7 days a week.
pretty much, pretty
So
much.
basically no rest days. Do you believe in rest days?
Yeah, I think sometimes rest can be really important, right? I think that there are times, certainly for me, when I feel like, yeah, my body's telling me I need to rest,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a chill day, just you know, just relax for sure.
But most of the time you just do train like 7 days a week.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
most of the time,
And then
most
you
days.
just rest whenever your body tells you to
Yeah,
rest.
correct.
And then you rest 1 day or 2 days when your body tells you to.
Yeah, one or two.
1 or 2.
If it's still as bad the second day, then sure, I don't mind to take another day. But there are also days when you like, and you know this, like it's discipline, isn't it? There are
Yeah.
days when you wake up and you're like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I don't feel so good. Sometimes those are the best days to train, right?
You feel really, really good afterwards.
Yeah, you do. It's a sense of accomplishment,
Mhm.
So I don't know. If you really need the rest, I'll say, yeah, sure, take it. But otherwise, keep consistency and keep discipline. And that's the key. You can't jump into a bench press and bench press 100 kilos and get a massive chest. That's not the way this shit works. You've got to be consistent over time to see results.
What are some like non-negotiables in your daily routine of staying sharp and basically fit?
I'd say a mixture of lifting weights, cardio. I'd say anything that makes you gives you the ability to, what's the word, improve your hand-eye coordination.
And
So yeah, so I love things like ping pong, right? Or like when we used to train with the reflex ball. So anything that's making you move with your hand and eye, I really like. Also the ball with the boxing, where you box on the ball,
the
reflex ball. Yeah, I think is fantastic. Anything like that. I mean, that I got from a very young age, where I used to get a golf ball and throw it against the wall, and it would, like, golf balls bounce real quick.
Yeah.
And I would be pop, 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 and it really improves, like, any aspect of sport will be improved if you have good hand eye. I mean, especially boxing, as you know, right? So staying mentally sharp, physically trying to be fit, and then just as you said, conversing, meeting new people, trying to be ambitious with business, right? Trying to improve business, reading, trying to learn new things, and sometimes, branching out, saying hello to new people, having a new conversation. Luckily for me, which I never envisaged, hanging around with you guys. You're all young, so they say you become part of what you hang out with, right? I'm sure some of that youth has probably rubbed off on me, right? And you guys are always challenging me all the time. You've always wanted to just smash me, basically, all of you. So like, I'll always have to stay pretty much on the edge, otherwise I'm cooked. So
I mean, just like with the table tennis now.
We,
for the listeners, we have table tennis now, and we just basically have like this competition now in our group of who's like the current champ. But we've always had that. We've had that in the gym. We've had that in boxing.
Sure.
We've had that everywhere. Like, do you think like that competition is healthy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sure.
Why?
I think it builds a competitive mindset, a winning mindset. I've never been someone who's a bad loser, but I hate losing. Right? If I do lose, all right, I'm going to accept it. I'm not going to be happy, but I'm going to accept it. I'm going to say, well done. But I'm really going to hate it. And I'm going to try next time to win. Like, I know that you're exactly the same. So.
Our whole friend group is basically like that. That where you can see like they're trying to be nonchalant about like the loss.
It hurts.
But it hurts. And then you just want to come back like, oh, rematch. And then you're like, nah.
After 100 rematches, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Job done.
Do you think that what keeps us like sharp?
Sure.
In our basically in our circle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you would recommend competition?
Sure.
As long as it's healthy, right?
As long as it's healthy competition, and that's the way that you're wired. Some people are not, right? Some people prefer the participation or the camaraderie of teamwork or whatever it may be. But some people are driven to win.
Yeah.
And if that's the way that you're made up, then go for it.
Yeah. So with the medicine, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the future of medicine looks like? Are we heading towards like superhumans or just better bandages?
I think better bandages. Certainly, yes, better bandages. Certainly, better treatment. There's some very, very cutting edge treatment. And I mean, I don't know perfect details on this, but stuff like gene therapy. There is a lot of incredible new scientific breakthroughs. And I think that we're, as with everything, as with AI, as with cloning, as with all of these fields, we're right on the cusp of a huge change in humanity, or huge changes in humanity, that are coming within, certainly your guys' lifetime. I think it's a incredible time to be alive, especially if you look through the history of mankind. this is a very, very fortunate time for us to be here, of which I'm deeply appreciative. And I think obviously some things can get worse, but a lot of stuff is going to get better. Whether or not that will filter down to the normal person, or whether it's going to be guarded by the rich, I'm not sure how long it's going to take to come down. I would hope that people learn to be more preventative and more health conscious. But I don't know how you feel about this. I think certainly as a general civilization, we are much more health conscious than we were, let's say, 10, 20, 30 years previously.
You think so?
I would say so. And I think the measurement, you can measure it a lot more clearly now. Whereas before you had gatekeepers, right? It was your doctor.
Yeah.
That's it. Whatever he told you, you have to accept it.
So coming back to like the question, right? You said basically better bandages, right? So
Sure.
basically a better treatment for things, right?
Yeah.
But your whole thing is about not even having to go to the
Prevention.
treatment, right?
Yes.
Prevention.
Yes.
How did that start?
Prevention?
Yeah.
Just research, trying
But was
things.
there anything like in your life that maybe happened that you thought like, okay, yeah, maybe I should probably start even preventing it happening in the first place, so we don't have to come to the better bandages?
Sure. I mean, I have a history of cancer in my family.
Yeah.
Lost my mom to cancer, so watching her struggle, and she was very much someone who went for treatment from the doctor wholeheartedly and wasn't really so open to alternatives. And I mean, she basically lived much longer than she should have just on determination alone, determination and excellent drugs. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is there are certainly other avenues to explore. For example, I would watch her make her cereal in the morning and she'd pour a whole spoonful of sugar in it when she was having cancer treatment. Now, to me, that's just complete insanity, right? Because you're feeding the cancer cells, right? So stuff like that. And yeah, just seeing people being sick, seeing people not knowing why they're sick, people just thinking, oh, this is just bad luck, which of course sometimes it is, right?
Yeah.
Or this is genetic. Okay, sometimes it is. But a lot of it is going to be down to your lifestyle, of which you have control over, right? So I've always been interested in, how to go about that. Is my body alkaline enough? Is my body too acidic? Is this the reason why I feel like this? Is this the reason why I don't feel as strong as I did a couple of years ago? And just trying to find out and learning about my body and how to optimize it.
Do you think people confuse being good with being well?
Being good and being well. Sure. I mean, there's being good and being well. It's going to be very difficult to say something that I do is good and then I feel well after, right? Or am I doing something that might necessarily not be good for me, and then how am I going to feel after? So I like to take a longer term perspective on this. And I kind of have this Epicurean view, right? So
What is that?
Epicurean view is a Greek philosophy. So it was around similar times to Stoicism, right? And it's actually juxtaposed with Stoicism, but there are actually some similarities. Essentially, what the theory is saying is that you derive happiness from pleasure, but pleasure is the absence of pain. So essentially, what we're saying is for you to be happy, for you to be fulfilled, you need to live a life that's absent of pain. Right. So now, if I think about that from a short-term perspective, let's say I want to get drunk tonight. I want to go and have a great time with my friends. How can I say that that's a bad thing, right? Because it's pleasure, right? I'm having pleasure. I'm having a great time with my friends. It's making me more sociable. Okay, sure, that's pleasure, right? That's not the pleasure that the Epicurean viewpoint is talking about. The Epicurean viewpoint is saying, imagine 3 days after, how do you feel in those 3 days? Do you have pain? Okay, maybe I'm drinking too much and I can't control myself, so I'm moody. I'm not communicating with my friends. My business acumen is off slightly. I've got this hella headache for like 6 hours.
Mm.
So you add up all these things and you say, okay, so can I come to a balanced opinion about making this decision of whether to drink or not? Is it worth the pain that I'm going to cause myself for 3 days? Or do I just jump to the absence of pain and not drink for that night?
Yeah.
Right. I'll give you another example if you don't mind. There's
Yeah.
a guy that I met in England. This is quite a strange story. So exactly like we were talking, I went up to him. He was in the spa. I was in England fairly recently. And I said hello to him, and he pretty much told me his life. He's just really friendly with me, really good guy, and just started telling me this story. And I saw him in the swimming pool, and he was kind of just doing like steps in the swimming pool. And I was thinking, okay, I didn't really want to ask him about it. He was just doing steps, stepping, not really even jogging, just steps. Okay, and he's probably in his late 30s, maybe mid 30s,
Okay.
something like that. So little chat, and then we meet each other again in the steam room, and he starts telling me that he was hospitalized very, very badly. And I said to him, why? And he said he got addicted to balloons, the laughing gas, right?
Yeah. Nitrous oxide.
Nitrous oxide, yeah, sure. So he had a very, very bad addiction to nitrous oxide. And he said that used to be, and I'm paraphrasing here, but that used to be his pleasure, right? That was what he would do with his mates. That's what he would do to get girls. That's what they would all do as a group together. He would drive and smoke balloons. That was just his thing, right? That's how he saw that he derived pleasure from that, right? And I'm sure he had some very fun times on it, right? He ended up losing the use of his legs. I think he said he slipped into a coma. He was in an extremely bad way. He could not use his legs. He lost all the feeling. He lost all the nerves. There was massive nerve damage. I mean, I don't know how much he smoked, but it must have been a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got really bad. He said to me that he prayed and prayed for the use of his legs, okay, without even a thought of the balloons, obviously, right? He came out and he walked again. Eventually, he was in a wheelchair. He had to go to physiotherapy. Now, this is why he was doing steps in the swimming pool.
Okay, yeah.
That's all he could do, right? Is doing steps in the swimming pool. And I said to him, like, you seem like pretty good. You seem pretty happy. You seem, you're quite content. And he said to me, and this is coming back to the point, he said to me, my pleasure is the use of my legs. Every day that I wake up and I can use my legs to do something, to walk my dog or like go out for just a little walk or do this like steps in the swimming pool is highly pleasurable to me, right? So the Epicurean viewpoint is, can we take that knowledge of how appreciative, in his case, he is for just the use of his legs, right? Can we use that as wisdom to say, okay, I'm not going to chase this short-term pleasure. I'm going to look at the absence of pain that I'm causing myself in the future, right? Because as he has learned the hard way, right, the absence of pain is the happiness for him now.
Damn. What a story. No, yeah, that makes me really think. But it makes me also think about like the opposite,
Sure.
If you are like, is it possible that if you over focus on optimizing your health, that you might forget to live? Not saying that like living is taking these drugs or going out partying, but maybe other things because you're so focused on optimizing your health. Is it possible?
I suppose the question is, are you limiting your pleasure? Are you limiting your fun by choosing that route? And I would say it's definitely not black and white. I would say that you need to pitch it to yourself as an argument and try and see both sides. okay, here's the benefit that I'm going to get by doing X, but here's the longer term effects,
Yeah.
or the next 3 days effects,
Yeah.
and try and come to a balanced conclusion. It might be that, yeah, I want to go out with my friends, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't want to do that, and you set yourself limits. Right? That might be the counter argument of finding the sweet spot there. But then again, there are people, and I'm probably one included, where I can't go out and have one or two drinks, because when I have one or two drinks, my mindset changes and I want to have five or six. Right? So I need to also take that into consideration and say to myself, okay, I know probably what's going to happen if I have two drinks. I either accept that and I deal with the 3 days consequence, or I go for the Epicurean, the absence of those 3 days of suffering, those 3 days of pain, and I accept that I'm not going to have maybe has such a good time when I go out.
Yeah.
It's
And just
all
not do anything, right?
yeah, or yeah, just stay home, just don't go.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to. I think it's all about knowing yourself, right? Knowing yourself, and using your experience as wisdom, right? So knowing the uh, and in the case of alcohol, you might get completely blackout drunk. You don't remember anything. So in which case, it's probably not been worth it, right? You have no
Yeah.
memory of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But you do have memory of the 3 days where you feel awful. If you have managed to, if you're someone who can moderate themselves very well, you've gone out, you've had a few drinks, you've had a fantastic time with your friends, you've woken up the next day, you've trained, and you feel great, and there's complete absence of pain, I'm all for it. Perfect. But you've got to know yourself and try and optimize it.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Well, you're fit, you're
Thank you.
sharp,
Thank you.
but are you happy, like, with the way you're living, or is health now your version of happiness?
Wow. I think for sure, when we try and think about happiness and we try and think about all the things that we have, as soon as you're sick, all of that goes out the window.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. None of it matters. The only thing that matters when you're sick is getting better,
Mhm.
right? Which makes me think that it should be somewhere near the top of the list to optimize my health, to give myself absence of pain, and therefore to give myself happiness.
Yeah.
I am absolutely not perfect. Absolutely in no way, shape, or form. I'm completely a work in progress. But I'm very happy where I'm at. I feel like I've used a lot of my good and bad experiences uh, in some forms as wisdom to be better, and to be a better person in the future. And I'm certainly, and I know I've always tried to instill this in you, extremely appreciative
Yeah.
of what a great time I live in, what fantastic friends I have, the people around me in my family, everything that I have, my cousins, my father, so much, this time and this place to be alive. And, I'm a studier of history. So looking at some of the terrible stuff that's gone on before and, comparing my life to that, I'm extremely appreciative and extremely grateful for the place that I'm at. And I, I'm not religious, but I certainly do appreciation exercises all the time. And this is not something I do like, okay, I'm going to do an exercise, but
Yeah.
I'm constantly, every single day, I'm saying thank you
Yeah.
for the things that I have. And, Christians do that in prayer, right? I think it's extremely powerful. And, if someone is not doing that, I would say start there. Just try to focus on the things that you are happy that you have. Try and appreciate them. Try and see how lucky you are, because the likelihood is that you're going to get more out of it. It's going to become better for you. Uh, if it's people that you're appreciating, you're probably going to show your appreciation, which is going to grow your relationship.
Yeah.
It's only going to be a positive for your life, right? And if you believe in things like law of attraction, right? I'm appreciative of this happening. This is where I want my life to go. And more things are going to come to me, right? Please let me help more people. Show me more people that I can help in this world. Show me how I can be a better person, right? Thank you for this. Thank you for this. And it's going to come, and it creates a positive cycle.
I actually did start and been doing it
Yeah.
for a longer time. People
Yeah.
have seen me like when we had like sleepovers, and they would catch me like in the bathroom, like talking to myself in the mirror,
Okay.
just like me saying thank you to myself in
Right.
the mirror, you know,
Right.
and saying all the things that I'm appreciative for. And at the beginning, when I first started that, it was really, really hard actually counting up
Okay.
multiple things.
Okay.
Now I can be in front of a mirror probably for like 10, 15, 30 minutes.
Have you got like a routine of the things that you say? Yeah, I have as well.
Yeah. Just
You
like,
might add something that's new, but generally,
and you can add something every single day, because like you might be driving your car, or like sitting, or me personally sitting in a lesson, for example, and then suddenly you're like, you know what, I'm actually really thankful for being patient.
Yes.
enough,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. Which is going to
patient.
make you probably more patient, because you don't want to like go against what you said.
And that's what I was going. That's what I was going for at this. You know, because once you say it out loud, once you say it to yourself, looking yourself in the eyes, you know, and actually saying like, "Oh, I'm actually so thankful that that I'm talking to myself. Actually, that you've been doing this and this." And I'm looking at myself, and it just looks like like the mirror is talking to me. You know, and then's when you have to like actually like stay true to your word, you know. And I feel like that is such a crucial element, especially in young men. Starting to stay true to your word, you know. When you say you're going to do something, you're actually going to do it. You know? I show up here at this time, and I'll be there at this time. And I feel like showing appreciation to yourself will also help you showing appreciation to the people that you love around you.
Sure.
And even the people that don't know you, you know, like giving a person these little gifts, like a smile, circling back all the way. And I think that showing appreciation, like being that thankful to yourself, will help you being thankful to others.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always tried to, very, very rarely will I say no. If I feel like someone is trying to take advantage of me, of course I'll say no. If someone ever comes to me with anything that they want to help with, whether it's big or small, I see that as a blessing, because that is not only helping them, that's helping me as well. So I count that as a massive blessing that I'm appreciative for. Give me more of that, because it can help to make me a better person.
All right. Looking back at everything,
sure,
the students you taught, the fighters you trained, the years you've lived, what's the one truth that stayed with you?
One truth. Okay, that's tough. One truth. Try to master your own fates through your actions. Try not to react. So I see a lot of people, and especially young people, reacting, right? And this is something that everyone does. Obviously, the emotions are probably stronger when we're younger, but this is certainly something that all people do. I do it from time to time as well. I'm not, as I said, not perfect at all. The issue is when you react, you are giving up control of the direction of your life. So there are things that we can do in our lives to steer us down the right path, and there are things that we can't control. Things that we can't control them. Let's not worry about them, right? The things that we can control are our actions, and they come from our thoughts. So when something pops in your head out of jealousy or out of anger, or out of some form of negative emotion, this is when you really need to take control of the direction of your life. And you can do that by literally not speaking, not acting. You just take your time and you envisage what you're going to do in that moment under anger, what I'm going to say under anger, and envisage where my path takes me by doing that. It's always going to be negative. You most likely are going to get anger back at you. You're going to get jealousy back at you. You're going to go in possibly a spiral that could lead to anything, just from one quick reaction that you haven't thought about. Now, the person with wisdom will see that, and they will change the outcome by changing their response, changing their action. I like to practice this by doing something completely the opposite. So, for example, if I wake up and I kick my toe on the bed, most people, most of the time, I'd be like angry or something, like start shouting or swearing or whatever. I laugh, even though it hurts. I force myself to laugh, and just for that split second, I can see that my whole morning might be changed. It's so powerful. So if we can do that and stay calm, think about it. Okay, I'm angry, I'm jealous, I'm greedy, whatever it may be. If I react right now, I'm going down this path. All right. And there may be so many branches from that path of other people that it may completely affect your life. It may affect you a little bit. Or, you know what? I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to be rational. And then I'm going to choose to go down this path. I'm going to choose to laugh about it. I'm going to choose to make a joke with my best friend or my girlfriend when she starts a fight with me. All of a sudden, you have just controlled the destiny of that argument. You've calmed it down. You have changed your life. And again, there can be branches all along that road.
That's so interesting. I feel like a really healthy way to look at it. If there's one thing you'd want every listener, especially young men,
Sure,
to walk away from this episode with, what would it be?
clarity.
Clarity?
No, but yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's tough to say. I hope that if someone has watched all the way through, I hope that they've enjoyed it and that they've grabbed something that will affect their lives in a positive way. And I hope that they continue on this journey with you. And you put a lot of effort into this, and you're really, really going for it, and you've got talent for it. So I think the amount of people and the really cool diversity of people that you're going to have on this season is going to be brilliant. So I can't wait for that. And I
You
think
already have a little insight on it, so
sure, I do have a little insight of those people, for sure. I think that, like I watch different podcasts. Sometimes there may be things I learn from someone and another guest and another guest. So I'm hoping that every time, someone watches it and they can build up a clearer picture of who they are or who they might want to become, and it can help them in some way.
James, it was a pleasure having you on.
Pleasure to be here.
And
thanks, man.
Maybe there will be a second episode sometime in the future.
Maybe.
And yeah, it was really, really interesting.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And I hope everyone enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
If you did enjoy the conversation, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment about your favorite part of the episode, maybe a question that you would want me to ask James in a future episode. Share it, and I'll see you next week. I hope things are clearer now.